So here are the questions that I'm asking with Runebound 3rd edition. We've selected the scenario, we've populated the board, we've shuffled all the cards, we've set out the market deck, the starting items in each of the town market decks. The first thing I do is I look at the 3 items that are available in each market deck. These are face-up items. These are known items. Now, in the deck of items to purchase and encounter in each market phase of the game, there's stuff that I like, there's stuff that's okay, there's stuff that I wish I can get, and I'm not giving away any spoilers of what those items are, but essentially it's unknown. You know, that next powerful item can be at the top of the deck, or it can be all the way at the bottom of the deck and we're never going to draw it. So there is a random unknown factor, but what's on the table is already out there. And at its core, there's a lot of strategies in Runebound, and this is what I really enjoy. It's an open sandbox game in that you have an end encounter. You have an end encounter in sight, whether that's fighting a necromancer or the High Dragon Lord or taking on the Spider Queen, whatever that's going to be. You have to achieve that possibly by leveling up through fighting, possibly by leveling up through quests and exploring the realm, possibly by social interaction, or even a mix of all 3. How you go about doing that depends on your character, depends on the other players, depends on just what you're feeling in the moment. But essentially it's building a hand of runes, these pogs, and being able to cast them out and manipulate them and get some very, very high and powerful and fearsome scores. And the addictive part of the game is, I feel like you're actually acquiring magic items. So when you buy an item, magic item or suit of armor or sword, whatever it's going to be, spellbook, alchemical kit, from one of the markets, not only do you get the card, but you take the corresponding cardboard rune with its power values, and you add that to your hand and you cast it. It's the only game that I feel like I'm actually have magic items in my possession, because you build all these up and you kind of collect them and cast them out, and every magic item has different powers and different abilities represented on the runes. So when asking that at the start of the game, I look and say, what can I acquire? A recent game playing through, there was the Greatsword, which is one of the most powerful weapons in the game. So right away, I was like, this is a good draw. Plus, I was playing a warrior-based character, so this fit perfectly. But it cost 12 gold pieces, or 12 gold coins, or 12 loot tokens. That's some serious currency. And in the game, there is a timer you're up against. You have a timer that you advance a number of spaces, and at the end it becomes Act 2, and then you advance a number of other spaces, and then the end scenario activates, and you have to resolve it. So your decisions, there's a little bit of grind in the game in that you have to explore and level up, but you have finite turns, and you can manipulate them by getting magic items to move further or take an extra action or through certain abilities. But essentially you're up against that clock, and you're optimizing in the moment as hidden information becomes revealed in the game. No spoilers, but an example being, at certain points on the timer track, you flip over a narrative card, and the narrative card is specific to the quest, to the story that you're playing. And that activates a point on the map that if you travel there, you can have a quest or get some lore or maybe get an ally or some extra gold. So you're constantly balancing out, where am I in the game, in the moment, and how can I position myself so when these unknown quests pop up, I can take advantage of them to further level up, all while there's a timer going on. So I'm looking at this and saying, okay, usually in the market deck, if there's an item that I want to acquire, I will hang out kind of near that town or that area. So in this case, hanging out around the town that has, the city that has that item for sale, looking at some of the quest gems. Where can I fight? Where can I explore? What social interactions? Are there prominent features in the game? Prominent locations, mountain ranges, or places where I think a random quest might pop up. I don't know, but over the course of the entire game, are there certain features where I believe a quest will pop up, so I'm in the kind of general vicinity to resolve it. I want to hang out there and raise that coin, spending my actions not necessarily moving across the entire board, but focusing on moving in a remote area, small area, and hitting up as many quests as I can. Now, the other drawback here, the other duality, and these are the questions asking in the game, kind of pointing out that, yes, it's an amazing narrative. Yes, it's open sandbox. Yes, it's very thematic. But under the hood, tactically, you have to make a lot of choices. 12 gold coins is a lot of money. That means I need to raise at least that to buy it, but I need other magic items for the game. I need to boost my armor. I need to boost maybe my speed. It's not just kind of tanking up and dealing alpha damage. So that much of my gold resources that I'm going to raise, I need other ways to get coin. I really need like 20 gold over the course of the entire game to make sure all of my bases are covered, because it's not going to do me any good to fight the end quest, deal massive damage turn one. Massive damage. It's a lot of fun. And then just get totally squashed because I have no health, I have no armor. I've neglected other attributes on my character. So I really kind of have to look at that and resolve that. The other question is the approach to gaining the coin. Now, I was playing a combat-focused character. So right away, the path that opens up is resolving the challenge gems where I'm going to fight something. That said, being open sandbox, I can play a warrior character and never fight anybody. I can just do exploration. I can just do social. Those are valid paths. But the easiest thing for me in that moment, especially given the area where I was hanging out, to go thump on some monsters. But that needs to happen Act 1, because Act 1, the monsters are at a certain strength. When you flip to Act 2, you add another rune to the monster deck. Now they become even more powerful. And even if I'm jacked up, even if I'm confident, look, Act 2, and I fight monsters, I'm going to win. I'm going to win. But they're going to damage me. They're going to hurt me. Then I have to spend time healing. And that time healing, especially in Act 2, is time I need to be preparing and taking advantage of stuff that pops up along the way. I mean, there's a lot of interesting decisions to be made. So essentially what I did was I did get enough coin to buy the sword. I also managed to pick up some armor and some other items. I did that by focusing on Act 1 combat, only picking up exploration or social if it was on the way, meaning if I'm traveling to a combat point and there happens to be a green gem along the way, I'll hit that up. I was not diverting. When I switched to Act 2, combat's done. I'm not doing any combat. Now I'm doing quest and exploration. Now I'm doing social interactions and traveling from town to town, and also buying and selling goods is very, very important in the game. So some interesting questions to ask for a game that puts forth a great, great narrative, but under the hood there is a lot of asset management and efficiency in terms of game turn, looking at what do you know in the moment, but also at the same time positioning yourself for the unknown that's going to be revealed round after round, positioning yourself to take advantage of that as best that you can.